All right, today's class is Homesnap Pro, why agents use this popular app. Now, Homesnap is one of the few mobile apps provided to you by Metroless. So everything that I'm showing you today is going to be from my phone. I have it reflected to the computer so you can see what I'm talking about. So again, this is a system that you can use on your cell phone. They do have a desktop version on your MLS dashboard, but we are just going to be focusing on the cell phone portion. The reason that this is really great is that this is a mobile application that streams data directly from the MLS to your phone within minutes. So again, it's really convenient. People aren't taking their computers around with them wherever they go, but they do have their cell phones, and it just, again, is a convenient and easy way to search for properties and a bunch of the other tools that they have available. We categorize our applications in a few different ways. There's the agent-only apps, and then there's the agent-client apps. This one, along with HomeSpotter, is an agent-client app. And what that means is that I can take this application and I can share it with my client. Then my client can go on, use the application, find properties, we can communicate through the application, and it's a very convenient way to help them search for properties and also get an idea of what they're interested in. A lot of agents, actually I wouldn't even say a lot of agents, a few agents have told me that they're concerned about this because they don't want their clients to do all of the work. They don't want them to meet another agent or anything like that. And that is a legitimate concern. But the reason I really like this application is that it is branded to you. So if you share the application properly, the clients will be able to see all of the listings, but they would only see your contact information, which is ideal. The other thing is clients, they could go on to places like Zillow and find properties. But what's really nice about this is when you are sharing this app, they can favorite properties, they can save properties, which is what favoriting is, but they can create new searches, and you are getting this information from them as well. So you actually get to see what they're doing instead of them just, again, going to a place like Zillow and finding those properties anyway. Okay, so what are we going to talk about within this application? We're briefly going to touch on downloading the application. Now, what I've done is I've included a PDF document in that list of tools. In fact, I'm just going to go back real quick so you can see where that is. That would be right down here underneath the questions. There is a PDF attachment. It's called a handout in this program. But that is going to give you a walkthrough guide on how to install and set up your account for Homesnap. If you have not done this yet, I advise you to not do that while you're trying to follow along with this webinar. It's just a kind of lengthy process, and I'd hate for you to miss out the fundamentals of this and getting set up and everything like that. I encourage you to download that document. In fact, I will go ahead and show you what that document looks like really quickly, because what this does is this shows you with both the Android and the iPhone versions of this phone, of your phone, how to go through all the steps. Downloading the application, you can download it from the iPhone store or the App Store. They both work. Then you're going to allow them access to your location. This is how it can identify homes that are near you, and it identifies the MLS that you are closest to. That's why it has you do it right away, because when you get later down into the setup process, it's going to ask you which MLS you're a member of, and that's how they access the data for you. Moving down, again, you're going to select the user type. You're going to make sure to select I'm a real estate agent over here. And the reason that you want to do that is that, again, that gives you additional information, and it also allows you to share the application with your clients. Here's that confirm your MLS portion. You're going to select Metroless because that's the MLS Pro. You're going to register your account within Metroless. What I like to do is I like to use the ID. That's the same agent ID. It's all letters. It's the one that you get when you sign up with Metroless. Depending on where you are, it might start with an M or an S or what have you, but that's the ID that I think is the easiest way to pull up my account. So that's the one that I use. All right, then you're going to select your contact method. This is much like a password reset thing where you select the account. It's going to send a message with a PIN number for you to put in. Then you're going to come back here, put that PIN in, and then you're going to create your account. That's going to give you an option to add your photo and all of that information that you want. Finally, you're going to verify that you have an agent account by looking right down here where it says Pro Agents. I'll be pointing that out when we actually get into the application. Now, I just got a fantastic question. Can you sign up with multiple MLSs? If you are a member of, let's say, the Fresno MLS, and they are exporting their data to Homesnap, you absolutely can add in both of those pieces of data. The one thing that Homesnap has said is that you just have to pick a primary one, and the reason that is that when you're sending reports out to your clients, it's going to say where the information was provided by. But really, the idea is that you all get access to the MLS data from both MLSs, which is really great. What we will be diving into, since that question was brought up, is that this is a nationwide app. I can look in other places like Washington, Texas, what have you, anywhere in the United States. The only difference is when I'm searching within my MLS, when I'm getting my MLS's data, I can see information like confidential showing remarks or anything like that. If I was to look in a place like Washington or Texas or New York, I would be treated as a consumer and I would only get the public information. So that's the difference. But yes, if you are a member of multiple MLSs, you will get the confidential information from both of those places. So that's a fantastic question. Another great question. What is the difference between Homesnap and HomeSpotter? I get this question all the time, and the easiest way to explain the difference is they both have the same goal in mind. They are both to be sent out to your client so you can share data and information while looking for properties. The big difference that I find is that Homesnap just has more features. It is so much more detailed. So it really comes down to user preference. What do you prefer? Do you need all of these great tools that Homesnap has? Or do you want something simpler like you have in HomeSpotter? They have some differences, like HomeSpotter has a feature where you can pull up the properties with your camera and you have a nice VR experience. Homesnap has something similar, just not quite the same. Really, it's all going to come down to user preference. The reason why HomeSpotter, the class that we teach for HomeSpotter, is so much shorter, it's about half the time, is because, again, it just has fewer features. There's less details to cover. But it really user preference. My advice, download both of them, then delete the one that you don't like as much, because you'll still be getting the same goal at the end of the day. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so that is the setup guide. Again, you can download a PDF copy if you have not set up Homesnap yet, and it just walks you through all the steps. It's the best way I can show you how to set up your account. I'm going to close out of this. All right, so the next thing that we will be talking about in the application is searching and snapping, how to find the properties. The snapping feature is how you can take a picture to pull up the property details. It's super cool. You have your property details. When you find a property, what information do you get to see? They have this fantastic rapid CMA option right there. The rapid CMA is really great. I like it because it is a marketing tool. I don't think that it's at the end of the day going to be your finished product, but what it allows you to do is get that contact information from a prospect, a potential client, and then you can follow up, give them some more refined information. But again, it's just a way to pique their interest super fast. That's why they call it rapid. They have these fantastic heat maps that can overlay over the map display, give you information, help you find new potential clients. So that's really great. We're going to be diving into that. We're going to be talking about the pro features. What does pro mean? Well, in the context of Homesnap, pro means that you are an agent. Homesnap Pro means that this is the application for you as the agent. Anyone can go to the App Store and download the application, but because you're an agent, because you signed in properly, you get more information That's why they call you a pro. Now they do offer some tools and resources within here called Pro Plus. Whenever you see the plus, that is something additional. That is something that you can pay for. Everything I'm showing you today is completely included with your subscription, no additional cost. I will be pointing out those Pro Plus features if you are interested in them. And then finally, we're going to show you how to share the application and how you can message within the application as well. All right, now with that being said, now that we've covered our to-do list today, we are going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up my phone, and there you can see this is my phone screen. And actually, let me go ahead and add my little spotlight so you can see a little bit where I'm pointing, a little bit easier. So this is my phone screen. That's why it's in that rectangular shape. Now I've already downloaded the application, so all I have to do is scroll up and let's just find that application. Mine are in alphabetical order. So Homesnap would be right here. You're looking for this icon right here, that little blue house with a crooked blue square. One more question that I just got. It says, I downloaded the app over a year ago. How do I know if I still have the most updated version? Typically, when you open up the application, it will say that you have an update available. What you can also do is you can go into the App Store. I'll give you an example. I'm on the Google Play Store, so if I Google Play, I can come right down here. Where did it go? Nope, not that one. I must have not moved that into there. Let's go ahead and find it. Google Play Store. Oops. Where did I put it? Give me 1 second. There it is. So what you can also do is you can come up here, find the application. So I'm just going to type in Homesnap. And then click the search button. This is how you would find it. Right here it says open, but sometimes it'll also say download the updates. You can click on it. You can also see right up here in the top 3 dots. Again, I'm on an Android device, but I could click on that, and I can also click enable auto update. So if you're on an Android, that's how you can do it. There's different ways to do it, especially within the App Store on iPhones, but what you would want to do is find the application and either check enable auto update, or you can uninstall it and reinstall it. That's something you can do as well, but we don't need to do that today. All right, so I'm going to open up that application by clicking on it. Now, one thing that a lot of agents love about using these apps is that I don't have to sign in again. That's really great, is that it just automatically pulls you in. You don't have to sign in. All right, so here I am, and what I'm seeing right now, and what you would see typically when you sign in, is you would see a map display split with a list right here. And if you click on the map, that list disappears. Let me zoom out by pinching my fingers together. There we go. So you can also zoom in by spreading your fingers apart, like on most applications that you can do. Now, what we're looking at right here are little property clusters. And what that is saying is that there are so many properties and they're so close together that they had to cluster them up. If you click on one of those little circles, it'll zoom you in, or you can also expand your fingers, and that would break those little clusters apart. So I'm zooming in, and now I can see all of these properties over here. If I want to bring that list view of properties back up, I can click list right there. And now I can see all of the properties that are on the map display have appeared on the bottom of my screen, and I could swipe up and scroll through all of those like that. I can also go through each one of these and swipe to the left. Is that the right one? Yeah, swipe to the left. And that'll give me a preview of the photos. I can see some brief details. And when I click on a photo, when I actually tap on it, it opens up the full property details. We're going to dive into that in a moment. But I just wanted to give you a quick overlay of what you should be seeing. Now there's various ways to search for properties within this application. The first one being with this search bar right up here at the top. Now, if I haven't ran a search, what this search bar does is it just tells me the area that I'm looking in. So I'm going to tap on the map so I can get a full screen map just to show you that again. If I pinch the screen, it zooms out and now it says that I'm in the northern Sacramento area. If I zoom in super close, you'll see that now I'm in the Natomas Crossing Village. So really this right now is telling us where we are. But if I click on that search bar, I can now search by city, address, school boundaries. I can search by zip codes or MLS numbers. I can also run a save search. You can save searches in here, much like the same way that you save a search in Prospector, where you're not saving the individual listings that you found, you're saving the search criteria. So if I'm going in 5 times a day, 7 days a week and running searches for 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes with a pool, single stories, all of that stuff, I don't have to put in that criteria every single time. I just click on the search, it reruns the search with that search criteria, pulling me the most up-to-date information. I also have my recently viewed properties right down there as well. So let's go ahead and run a search. Let me show you an example. Let's say I wanted to run a search outside of our coverage area. Let's say I wanted to run a search up in Portland, Oregon, for example. What I can do is I can just type in that city. I'll type in Portland, Oregon. Can't type today. So Portland. So Portland in Oregon, obviously outside of our coverage area. I can see right there, it's a city/town in Oregon, that's the state. They also have a Portland in Arizona, of course. There's another one in Maine that I'm aware of, but you have all these different options and it's going based off of your location and pulling in the closest ones. So this first one right here, Portland, Oregon, I can click on that. And right now I'm seeing all the properties within Portland, Oregon. There is the boundary for the city. And I could zoom in and I could click on one of those properties. And what's great about that is that I'm pulling in data from the local MLS, which is more accurate than your Zillow or anything like that. So that's a really great way to get information, especially if, let's say, your client was moving to another city. You could send that off to them, show them a couple of properties, find some listing agents in that area, and possibly get a referral. So that would be really great. So that's searching outside of your coverage area. But remember, when you search outside of your coverage area, it's only going to show you the public information. So no confidential remarks, no showing instructions, nothing like that. All right, I can close out of the search by hitting remove outline. You can save searches. We'll be talking about that in a moment. I can also click out of this little search criteria right up there. Close out of there. All right, so the next way to search is by clicking on that little search bar again. Let's show you one with the school boundaries because school boundaries to parents, right? So let's say we have a client and they really want their child to go to Franklin High School, for example. So I'm going to type in is Franklin High School. There it is in Portland, Oregon, right there. That is a Franklin High School in Portland, Oregon. But there's also one down here in Elk Grove. That's actually the one that I'm looking for. So I can click on Franklin High School right there. And again, I can see the school boundary and all of the properties within the school boundary. Now there is a that I want to tell you right now is that no guarantee that if your clients buy this house right over here for $1 million, there is no guarantee that their child will be going to this school. School boundaries shift, schools get impacted, so there really is no guarantee. But what's really great here is that I can click on that little icon. That's where the school actually is. Let me zoom in so you can see that. That is actually where the school is. I can click on that little pin right there and it pulls me up Franklin High School and I could view the school details right there. Let's check that out. I can see the grade schools rating right there, and right there's the phone number. I can give my clients the phone number and say, hey, here's the phone number for the school. see if they are enrolling, and let's double check that this address, this property that we were just looking at, is actually boundary. So that is something. Remember, there is never a guarantee, so you don't want to get in trouble by saying, oh yeah, if you buy this school, your kid will be going, I'm sorry, if you buy this home, your kid will be going to this school, because that's not necessarily the case. But it also has all these really cool key metrics, so you can see the student to teacher ratio, you can see related schools, so if you were looking at an elementary school, which middle or high school would they be going to? You can see all of those schools, and then again, a list of homes within that school boundary. Let's go ahead and I'm going to click that little back arrow right up there. That's going to take me out of that search. Now, again, if this is a search that you're running 5 times a day, 7 days a week, and you don't want to put in all that search criteria over and over and over again, what you can do is you can save a search right there. I can click save. It's going to actually save that school boundary, so you don't have to draw a boundary as well. I can give this a name. I'm going to name this Franklin High School. I'm going to name it Franklin High. I'm going to give it to today's date, just so it's easier to find, so I can show you when we save a search, where to find it. I'm going to type in 2/ right there, 1 for February 1st, just so I can point it out quickly. Now here's something else that's really important. You have this alerts option. These are push notifications, email. Let's check these out. So if there is a new property that pops up within that search area that matches that search criteria, you can have push notifications. Those are these little guys. As you can see, I have an Instagram push notification, an email push notification. That's those guys right there. And that just pops up on your phone, and you can click on it. That'll open the app, and then you can see that. But you can also receive email notifications. You can turn those on, and you can get an email once a day, or immediately as soon as that property is listed and it pops up, it'll send you an email saying that there's the new property. And you can choose which one you want. But if you do want to be notified, this is where you can turn those notifications on, which is important. Let's go ahead and click save search. Actually, I'm going to turn those off because I don't need to actually see those. I'm going to click save search. Those notifications have turned off. I can click save search again. There we go. And now we're back to our search. Now let's go ahead and close out of that. Let's close that by clicking on that little X. Let's close that. I just clicked the little down arrow and that minimized it. You could also click on the map display. Let's go ahead and click on that search again. And remember, we searched for Franklin High 2-1 right there. It says for sale. That's our save search. If I click on that, that's going to pop right back up. Another place, if you're not seeing it right there, when we clicked on it, it was at the top of the list because that's the last search we saved. You can also click view more saved searches. That'll give you your full list. You can also find those underneath the Me tab, which we will be discussing shortly. All right, so that's how we can use the search bar up here at the top. The next way I want to tell you how to search is with that actual search name, with the actual name of the application, the snap they get their name from, camera right here. So I can click on that camera, and I'm in the office, so this doesn't really work. So you can see there's our office, very exciting stuff, right? But I can also click on this little guy, which we will be doing in a second. But the idea is that if I'm out and about, I see a property I like, I can put the property right here in this little frame, take that little picture, and what will happen is it will take the property that it's closest to my GPS location. It doesn't use NSA photo recognition technology or anything like that. It's just going to take my GPS location and the photo that I took, and it's going to take a guess and say, this is the information that you're looking for. It's not necessarily how it works, right? Not all the time. Let me give you a different example. Since I'm in an office, I'm going to click that little guy right up here. I believe on the iPhone it says stealth, if I remember correctly. But here again, it's found my GPS location. So what you would typically see here, there's little property dots around you right there. But this isn't working really well because I'm not really near a residential area. But the idea is this. What you would see is a little dot here. You can click on that property, And what that would show you, oops, let's try that again, is those property details. Now, what makes this application unique opposed to HomeSpotter, because I know that was a question that was asked earlier, is that this one will also use property details. So let's say this property over here is a property that I'm interested, it's not on the market, I can still get the property details. And what would happen if I hit that little stealth feature is that it would just give me a street view of that property. But if I was to use that snap feature, that camera that we were looking at before, what that would do is it would take the picture that we took right of this, let's say of this one right here, and it would take the property details, it would associate the photo with the details, giving me that information, which is really great, very quick, very easy. But this is a pretty big building. What if I cross the street over here to take a picture of this so I can get the whole property in the frame? Well, what you may see is that you get the property photo that you took, but you might get the details of this property over here because that's the property that you're closest to. So I highly encourage you to verify the information is correct by using the address. When it comes up, it'll show you the address. Make sure the address is correct and that way you actually know that you're looking at the right property details. Again, sorry I can't show this a really good explanation of this because I'm too far away. I'm in a really commercial area, but this works really great on the residential areas that you might find yourself in. So go ahead and try it out. It is fantastic. All right, so that is the snap feature. Now let's talk about some of these other features that we see right here. We have for sale, for rent, and all homes right there. For sale, for rent, and all homes. Now, right now we are looking for properties for sale. I can click on any one of those pins and I will pull up those property details. How can I narrow this down? Well, I can also narrow this down by our filters. Right there, it says filter. I can click on that. Now, the only filter that I have set up right now is that I'm looking for properties for sale. If I click on for sale, you can see I can also look at properties that have open houses, that are pending. They call it under contract, but pending right there. And also properties that have closed. I can go back. I can also add filters for price, bedrooms, bathrooms, property types, listing types. There are a ton of different filters in here. School ratings, HOA fees, things like that. If it has a basement, if it has a pool. And then right down at the bottom of the list, you also have additional filters right there where I can choose if it has hardwood floors, if a fireplace, if it's in a senior community. So you have a lot of options there as well to really focus in on the properties that you're looking for. The same thing applies to properties for rent and all homes. We're going to touch on that in a moment again as well. Now, for rent properties, we're not going to see a lot of properties because it's not a lot of properties for rent in our MLS, but here's one actually. Let's go ahead and check this one out. So this is actually a residential property right here for $3,500. Again, I can click on that little image and that pulls up the property details. We're gonna be looking at property details in a moment. Now, the last one that I wanna show you right here is the all homes feature. So when I click all homes, what that's going to do is it's going to pull in all of the property records. And you see again, those little clusters because you really need to get very close to these properties to actually see the information because there's again, so many properties, so it needs you to zoom in. So let's do that. Let's just zoom in right over here until we get a bunch of little blue dots. And that means that I'm zoomed in close enough. So as I pan around, you can see we have those little blue dots. You can also see this one has a little red balloon right there. And that means that this property has sold within the last year. Again, we haven't added any search criteria. I'm not looking for active or pending or closed. It's just when you get close enough and you zoom in close enough, if you see a little red balloon, that means it closed within the last year. If it's closed over a year ago, it's automatically changed to these little blue dots, which just mean that this is an estimated value. It's a property detail, it's off market. All of those words mean the same thing. It just means that it's showing you the property details. You'll also see green ones and yellow ones as well if you find them, but we're not going to spend too much time looking for those right now. All right, So what's great about the all homes feature is that when you click on all homes, you get these heat maps down here in the bottom left-hand corner. As you can see, it says heat maps. Let's click on those. All right, so you see a lot of different heat maps here. It gives you a little preview of the map display. The first one we're going to look at is the likelihood to list. I can click on that and I can see all of this information right here. I could also focus in on likely and least likely or most likely to list. But if I want to get more information, we're going to click apply right down here. So let's do that. Let's click apply. And now I can see all of these different parcels with all of this information. So one of the first questions when I pull this up that people ask me is, well, why is this property, this orange one right here, why is that one likely to list? What does that mean, likely to list? Let's click on it. Let's check it out. So I'm going to click on that property. This one says it's off market, but it's most likely to list. Let's see why. We're going to open up the property details by clicking on that photo. Right now we're getting a street view again because this isn't listed in the MLS. This is an off-market property. But as I scroll down, you're going to see some options. And since we're passing it right now, I just want to point out anything that you see in gold or has this pro symbol, that is something that only you as an agent can see. If you're not seeing this information, it's either because you are outside of our coverage area, this listing isn't coming from MetroList, or you've accidentally signed in as a consumer. You're going to want to sign in as an agent to get this information. All right, but likelihood to list. This is a option that is only available to you as the agent. And let's actually take a look and see some information. What information can we gather from this? Well, right here it says likelihood to list. There's a little I for information. Let's click on that. Now it says likelihood to list score, a score that is indicated the likelihood that this home will be listed for sale in the next 12 months, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. So it gives you a description of what's going to happen. They believe that this home will be listed within the next 12 months. Okay, why is it going to be listed within the next 12 months? Let's take a look at this little I right here. Let's answer that question. The key factors, most likely, likely, or least likely. Again, it's breaking it down into 3 different categories. What's happening is that Homesnap is taking a bunch of different factors, they're putting it into an algorithm, and in that algorithm will spit out a score. And if that score meets a certain threshold, it'll be allocated to most likely, least likely, right down here, or likely to list. So that is what's happening behind the scenes. So what about this property is making us believe that this property will be listed within the next 12 months? Well, they have this AI score, and that's their proprietary information. They don't release too much information on that, but pretty much their computer learning algorithm is saying that this one's going to be listed because of certain trends, data points, so on and so forth. Again, they don't tell us too much about this, but what they do say is that their system says that it will be listed relatively soon. I can also swipe over to the right or to the left, swipe to the left, and this gives me my next factor, which is the net equity. It says that this one has a net equity of 35%. So that is why they believe that this property will be listed soon. Another one, this property has been owned for over 17 years, so 17.8 years. So it tells you, and they believe that because it's been owned for so long, that it will be listed again. And then it goes into the likely and then the least likely. It hasn't been listed before. That means that it hasn't expired or anything like that. So no recent listings for this property. It's owner occupied. They believe that sometimes if there's a renter there or if it's owned by a bank or foreclosed on, that it might be listed soon. Good standing mortgage. If it was a poor standing mortgage, again, that notice of foreclosure right there, again, another indicator that it might be listed soon. And those are all the factors. And you can swipe over here too to just jump to all of them that you want to see. But those are the likelihood to list factors. Let's go back to that map display by clicking on that arrow right there. And again, you can jump around, pick through, look at these. And this is a really great way to start narrowing down your potential clients. If you want to do some door knocking, you can go door to door and just focus on the orange ones or the yellow ones if you want to. How can you do that? Well, right here under the filters again, let's click filter. And again, these have all of the filters just like the for sale properties. But for likelihood to list, let's say I just wanted to focus on the most likely, you can do that as well. Let's click see results, and there's the most likely one right there. Now this application remembers how you left it. So if you are just looking for most likely today and you're done looking for those most likely to list properties, I highly encourage you go back into your filters and hit reset right there, and then hit apply right down here, so that when you come back in, you might not be so confused as to why those properties aren't coming up anymore like they used to. Let's take a look at some of the other filters. So I clicked on likelihood to list. That's the one that we have selected. Now what you may notice is that when I go to the next one, you can only select one filter at a time, one heat map at a time. But we are going to come back for a little workaround for that in a second. So right here I have MLS status. If you don't like the little pins, you can also have it color coordinated by MLS status, and that would take up the whole parcel. Some people like that a little bit more. I can also do distressed, but as you can see right there, it says Pro Plus. That is the first sign that we've seen today. That shows you that that is a feature that you can pay for. That is something that you can buy. I don't even have it, so I can't even show you what that looks like. We have last list date, ownership time. If it was a cash buy, you can filter out all of the cash buyers, the mortgage age, and the mortgage rate. If you want to see what that looks like, I'll just click on that little toggle right there. Scroll down, you can see mortgage rate between 0 and 3.5, so on and so forth. Now, as I mentioned before, you can only use one heat map at a time, but what if you wanted to narrow this down further? Well, what you can do, let's say we want to add the likelihood to list feature right there, but let's say we only wanted to target properties that have been owned for over 10 years. That's just an example. I can't select both of these, but what I can do is I can select likelihood to list. I'll click apply, and then under my filters right there, I'm going to go ahead and click filter. There's our ownership time. I could select over 10 years. So 10 or more years. I'll click apply again. Now I only see the heat map. I see the heat map, but I only see the parcels highlighted that match both likelihood to list and have been owned by over 10 years. So that's all that information that I can see right from that heat map. This is a fantastic way to start targeting potential new clients. Now, another question, it says, how can I get a list of the filters I used? The only place I could see the filters would be right here under filter. And this would be the only list that I can really think of. If you want to clarify the question, are you talking about more like all the filters that they have available, like a paper copy, or are you talking a list of homes? A list of homes. Okay, so great question. Let's go ahead and click apply. Here I have all of the homes on my map display that match my search criteria. As I can click this little list button right there. Boom. That's going to pull up all of the properties on the map display, and I can come right up here and I can go through all of those homes right there. So that's how you would get the list. Now, can you export the list into a paper copy? Unfortunately, no, you can't do that, but you can see a nice list right here. All right, so those are our heat maps. Really great option there. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to reset it, click apply, and I'm going to go ahead and let's go back for sale homes. Let's zoom out. Let's actually take a look at some of the details that you get to see. So let's take a look at this property right here. And let's open up that photo real quick and let's talk about some of these features that we get to see. So right here we have photos. In the property that we looked at that was off market, there weren't any photos because again, there wasn't any information coming from the MLS about photos. These are all photos uploaded by the listing agent. I did see a hand pop up. Denise, if you did have a question, go ahead and throw that right into the question box. Again, I could pull that up just so you can see it real quick. Oh, wrong screen. It's not that one. This one. Go ahead and throw that into the question box and hit send, and that'll come through to me on my side. All right, so at the top here, we have the photos. Now I can actually just click on the photo right here. It has a nice slideshow, but I can click on that photo and that's gonna pull me up all of the photos of the property. Very nice. Let's close out of there. Now Pro Plus, that's a feature that you can pay for. That's gonna show you all of the photos. This one shows you all the photos of the house when it was previously listed, so you can see how it's changed. You can get a street view and you can also get a map view of this property. We see how much it's listed for, and they also have a little mortgage calculator. It's that little number right there above the listing price that's underlined. If you click on that, up comes a mortgage calculator as well as an affordability calculator right there for you. If we want to close out of that, we just click on that arrow in the top left corner. As we scroll down, we can get some more information. We see the sell speed. This one is a Pro Plus feature, so you would have to pay for it. But if you're looking at a property that is off market, this is actually a feature that is included. So off market properties, you can use the sell speed. On market properties that are listed, you have to pay for that feature. All right, Denise, I see that the All Homes does not appear in the app. I would ask you next, when you are looking at your app, do you see this little icon right down here that says Pro Agents? That would be my next question to you. Oh, let's open up this property again. All right, property. Okay, so Denise, that means that you are not signed in as an agent. You're signed in as a consumer. After the webinar is over, I'd be happy to walk you through how to go back into being an agent so you would get all of those features. All right, so property history. We have, again, this is in gold. That means that only you as the agent can see this information. You get the summary right there. You also get mortgage information, tax information, and the deed information right there. You can also set it up to notify you of any price changes if you're waiting for the price to drop. You see the related agents. This is the listing agent right there. I can send her a private message right there. I can also click on her profile, and that's going to open up her profile right here where I can favorite her, I can message her. I can also, underneath the More tab, I can send her profile in a message. We're going to circle back to that in a moment, why that's a really cool feature. Moving down the list, I can call her, I can text her, I can email her, I can also contact her office right there. Right here, it says, how am I connected? Let's check that out. I click on that blue button right there, and now I can see anytime I've worked with her, if we had a transaction together, if anyone in my office has had a transaction with her, if I've had a transaction with anyone in her office, or if we've had a transaction with the same person. And that's, again, coming back to why that feature to send someone's profile might be so nice. I can send it to someone in my office and say, hey, did you work with her? Was she professional? Did she show up on time? Is there anything that I should know? Something like that. So that's a really quick and easy way to get some information on your fellow agents. Let's go back by clicking on that back arrow. Oh, you know what? All right, perfect. She's paid to advertise on Homesnap, so she has her business hours, her business description. This is something that you will see for all agents. Flow within the last 2 years. You can see how many listings she's represented, how many buyers she's represented. What's also really nice about this is that It goes back 2 years. So the last 24 months. Something I do want to point out about this is, let's say you represented a buyer in the Bay Area. So that listing was entered into the Bay Area. Because that listing isn't being brought in through Metrolist, you're not going to see that information added right here. So this is only information coming from Metrolist. So these are all transactions that happen in Metrolist. You can see the recent listings and the recent homes that they moved their buyers into. This is another feature that she's paid for, the Pro Plus one. What's new, recent photos, and then they have some advertising for becoming a Pro Plus member. Moving down the list, you have related people. Now, if I click on the owner name, what you're going to see all related people. Let's go ahead and click on Keith right down here. This is a former occupant. When you click on these homeowners, you can also see information about them. This is their personal phone number. Sometimes you'll see more than other times, but you can see Keith is on a do not call list. So be aware of that before you call them, to check the full profile for them and check if they're on the do not call list. They also have their email. You can pay to get some extra information from the Pro Plus right there, and related homes. He was a previous owner. Right now it's showing the current owner right there. When you click on properties that are off market, you can also see sometimes the current owner and their contact information. Again, this is a pro feature, meaning that only you as the agent have access to this. Listing powered by Metrolist. Here's the listing summary. As you can see, who can see this listing? Agents, clients, and consumers. What's the difference between a client and a consumer? A client is branded to an agent. A consumer is just somebody that went and downloaded the application. This link right here does not open up in the Metrolist application. This is just a way to copy that ID so you don't have to memorize it. Confidential data, again, it's in yellow, meaning that only you as the agent can see it because you've signed in as an agent. You have listing media right here again, those photos, flashback photos if you want to pay for them, street view, map view. Right over here, Homesnap stories. Haven't seen a lot of agents using this, but this is a cute little way to get more detail about your property. So if somebody clicks on it, they can see this story. I see things like crown molding, original hardwood floors. They work a lot like Facebook or Instagram stories, where you can add little heart bubbles, little cartoons pointing to things, stuff like that. Then the local schools in the area, you can calculate the commute time, so you can put in their work address and see how far away this property is from their office, which is cool. Property lines, let's go ahead and open that up. If you're on an iPhone, you get this really cool AR, augmented reality experience, where you hold up the camera and it takes it and you can walk along the property lines. On Androids, you just get these little property boundaries that you can zoom in. You would see your little blue dot appear here. And again, keep in mind, this isn't accurate 100%. Don't build a fence off this. This is more just so that people can get an idea of how big the parcel is. I think it works really great for large parcels. All right, so that's what you get when you click on a property that is on the market. And just so I can show you what a property off the market looks like, because we do need to talk about that rapid CMA. Here's a property that is off market. So let's say you're in a grocery store and you meet somebody, they say, oh, you're an agent, I'd really like to list my property, but I don't know what I could get for it. Well, you can pull out Homesnap really quickly and you can say, you can type in that address, 955 Brown Bear Court. So let's do that. 9555 Brown Bear Court, there it is. And it pulls it up for me. It says, here's 9555 Brown Bear Court. So we're going to click on that photo. Pulls up the property details. This is an off-market property right there. And as we scroll down, you see these agent actions. There's that sell speed. Remember, if it's on the market, it's a Pro Plus feature. If it's off the market, you can use this right here. This is actually really cool. It's one of their newer tools, but you can say, okay, if you list this property at 564, we believe that this property will sell within less than 2 weeks right here. All right, predicted weeks on market. If you bring up the price right there, you can see that it toggles over a little bit. So now there's a 25% chance that this will sell within 4 to 8 weeks. But because the market in Elk Grove is so hot, it still says that there's a really good chance that it could sell in less than 2 weeks. Let's close out of there. Oops, I went a little too far. Let's keep going down. Okay, our rapid CMA right there. Let's go ahead and click on that one right there. Again, you would be able to pull up these details with your prospective client in line at the grocery store. Speaking of which, probably should start shopping at Safeway since they only tend to have 2 registers open all the time. I don't know why they build in any more than that. All right, so you can confirm the bedrooms right there, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms right there. If they tore down a wall and now they actually have just a huge master bedroom, you can actually change that down to 4 bedrooms if you want to. You can change the property type, the year built. Let's go to the next step. Now here you can pick up to 3 active or pending listings right here. I'm just going to pick the first 3. Now you could spend a lot of time in detail going through this, but we're in line at a grocery store, so we got to move fast. So I'm going to click next step. Same thing, you can pick up to 3 closed listings. Boom, boom, boom. Click those first 3. Let's click next step. Now you can email it directly to them. You can also put in a little note here. Then that email with the CMA would go directly to them from Homesnap. I don't like to do that. I'd like to send it from my own personal email address. So I'm just going to click create your CMA right down there. You can see that it's loading right there. I can go back to using Homesnap if I want to, but I'm just going to give it a second to load. Now this CMA can't be customized at all, which is kind of a bummer, and it's going to give them a lot of detail. But let's go ahead and open this up so we can take a look at it. It also automatically sends you an email with the report as well. So that's downloaded. I can open this up. Let's open it up in this PDF viewer right here. I'm going to click just once there. And here it is. There's my photo. There's the information. They can go through all of this. This is a 55-page document. So again, that's a lot of information, but it piques their interest. And then if I want to share this, I can click on my little 3 dots. On the iPhone, it's the little square with the up arrow, and that's the universal share symbol. I can click send file, and now I can email this from my personal email address right there. You can also email this with any other sharing option. So if you use Discord or if you use WhatsApp is another one that I've heard, you can share it that way as well. It's just sharing that PDF document. I could also share the report this way by clicking that little share symbol. I can share it to my clients that are using the application. I can share it to another agent, or I can share it via phone contact as well. But that is sharing within the application. If you're trying to impress a person that you've never met, they probably don't have the application, right? So, all right. So again, I mentioned that you can contact the owner, and it says call, SMS, email, but just keep in mind that when you scroll down, check to see if they're on the do not call list. So always keep that in mind as well. All right, so that's searching for properties. Let's wrap it up with some of these features right down here, some of the more important features as well. Under the Me tab in the bottom right-hand corner, there's my profile. That's my photo. I can change it. That's me. That's Batman. I can view the photo. There I am right there. Very nice. Let's go back. I could also take a picture like a selfie, or I can choose from a library on my phone. I can change my little background picture right there. You can't upload your own, which is unfortunate, but they have a nice selection of them. Kind of just show who you are. Let's see what else. Underneath the settings right here. They have, I can update my information and I can update zip codes. When I click update zip codes, you can pick different zip codes. You can add up to 3 zip codes, and this is kind of like a little hot sheet. You put in those zip codes right here, and then anytime there's a new change in that zip code, it will add that property to your newsfeed, and I'll be showing you the newsfeed in a second. This is completely free, and it's just like a miniature hot sheet, but you can only add up to 3 zip codes. I'm going to click done. You can also change your notifications right there. Remember, we had the push notifications or the email notifications. You can add those for messages, property alerts, save searches, review requests, Homesnap ads or things that you can pay for. Again, I don't have any of those, but those are just defaulted to be on. So that's that little gear. How did we get there again? By clicking on this little gear right up here. How do I invite a client to use this? Well, I can click that invite button. The first time you click on this, it's going to ask you to invite all of your clients, all of the contacts on your phone. You don't have to do that. But when you come back, you can also check each individual ones. You also have this share your profile link option where I can click share. I can post this on Facebook or Twitter or any other application that I have on my phone. And when people click on the link, if they're using their phone, they'll be taken to the App Store and they'll be able to download my branded version. So this is how you can share the application. You don't tell your clients just go into their App Store and download it, because then they'd be a consumer. You tell them that you're going to send them something, and when they get it from you, they click on it and then they can download the application. Then they're branded to you. Clients and contacts right there. Once you actually have your clients, you would see them all right there. If you favorite a person, wait, I'm sorry, did I skip something? Nope, that's right. If you favorite a potential homeowner, this is where they appear. That's the little star symbol that you see. You can do the same thing for agents right there. If you favorite them, you can call them back later if you need to. You also have your recently viewed owners. There's Keith Swank, also agents right there. Lindo, who we were looking at before, we recently viewed her profile. We have the clients we invited. I can invite more of them now. I also have requests. If somebody found me through Homesnap, if somebody downloaded the application, found my property, clicked on my profile and found me, then they would see a request right there. They can request to connect with you. Underneath the more feature right there, you have a lot of the same features where you can change your wallpaper. There's the affordability calculator again. You can view your snaps. Those are the properties that you took the picture of and it pulled up the property details. Lots of features right there. Right here it says My Stories. I believe if you're on an iPhone, you don't have this. This is an Android only feature. This works a lot like the stories that we were looking at on the individual properties, but this one is just about you. So it's a nice way to kind of make yourself stand out, your personality or anything like that. Again, you can see all of your favorited properties, your recently viewed properties, and the properties that you took snaps of. That's when you take a picture of a property. Moving down the list, we have my shortcuts. This will take me to my public profile. That's what people can see when they click on my profile. This is what agents can see when they click on my profile. You can pay. It doesn't say Pro Plus yet, but if you click on it, a little tricky, now it says Pro Plus right there. You can see who's actually clicked on your profile to kind of connect with them. You can pull up my saved searches. This is what we were talking about before. You have that save search feature in the property details. I'm sorry, search bar at the front at the top. You can also pull up all the properties in your office right there. For the person that asked earlier, can I have multiple MLSs? This is where you can do that. You can actually add that other MLS, whatever that other MLS would be. And you can also get help and feedback from here. Under the Pro Agents, you have a search, an agent search right there. You can pay for some extra features like advertising or managing your clients, things like that. The Homes tab right here, a lot of these ones are the paid for options, so just putting that out there as a warning. The Homes tab at the bottom, this is our standard landing page. We have the messages right there. And what I like about the messages, if I have two clients that are both working together, maybe they're a couple, I can have them both using Homesnap and I could share the properties to both of them in a group message right there. But this is really great because when I share properties through the message, I can actually see the updated status. So if they said, what happened to that property on, what does that say, Brian? On Brian right there, I can go back here really quickly and say, oh, that one sold back in December. So it's a quick way to pull up those properties very quickly. I said quick twice in that one. And then finally, you have your news feed. So as this loads up, this works a lot like your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed, any important information for you, it's going to appear right here. So properties in my preferred zip code, I can see if any of those listings had changed. So that's a preferred zip code right there. Previously viewed home, that was a previously viewed one that I had clicked on. They have some Homesnap news articles to keep you in the loop for real estate information. Let's see, previously viewed. I want to see if there's one for my contacts. Preferred zip code, previously viewed. Client of mine favorited this home, so I can see that it appeared there. It's keeping me in the loop right there. So again, it's just a bunch of different places. So if you're in waiting to get a coffee and nothing interesting on your Facebook, you can scroll through here and see if any important changes have happened. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our PowerPoint real quick. Make sure we didn't forget anything. Go back to our list. So we talked about downloading the application right there. Remember, I included that handout. It's in your list of tools on the far right-hand side. If you have not downloaded the application, download that little PDF document, and that's just a nice, easy way to walk you through and make sure you're signed in as an agent. That's really important. We talked about the various ways to search and snap. I didn't give you a good example of the snapping because, again, I'm in a very commercial building without a lot of residential properties around me. We went through the property details with both what you see for properties on the market and off the market. We ran a rapid CMA. We looked at those heat maps. We looked at the pro features. Everything that is in gold or says the word pro, that means that only you as an agent have access to it. Pro Plus are the things that you can pay extra for. And then we finished up with how to share properties, how to message them. In fact, I don't think I did a good enough job of that. So I just briefly, I know we're over time, but I just briefly want to show you that real quick. Let's go back to homes. Let's pull up a property just really fast. I want to show you that. When I click on a property, if I click on the photo, again, the property details come up. And as I scroll down, you can see this appears. I can favorite the home right there. I can share it in a message. That's going to be a message within the app. That's the one that actually keeps the status updated, which was really great in the group messages. Or I can use the universal share symbol. This is one for Androids, iPhones, it's the square with the up arrow. I can click on that and I can send a little property report through any of my applications, my text messages, Facebook, Discord, WhatsApp, whatever you have installed on your app on your phone, you can share using those apps as well. That's just a little property report. All right, sorry, I wanted to make sure that that was explicitly clear. Let's go ahead and go back to our PowerPoint. All right, so I want to thank you for hanging out with me, even though we did go a little over time. I'll stay on the line just in case there's any more questions. If not, please have a fantastic day. If you do have any questions or if you don't get that recording, go ahead, give the training department a call, give us an email. Happy to send that right out to you. If you are in front of a client and something's not working and the training department's not getting back to you quickly enough, call this number right here minus the extension. That's going to take you to the main Metrolist phone number. From there, you can talk to tech support, who is well versed on all of our programs and apps and tools. They're available 7 days a week, Monday through Friday from 7:30 in the morning till 6 in the evening, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, and they would be happy to answer any of your Metrolist questions. Again, I'll stay on questions. I do know that somebody needed help setting up their agent or changing it to the agent profile. But if there are any more questions, shoot them my way. If not, please have a fantastic evening. I hope to see you on the next webinar. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. So Denise, let's go ahead and try to troubleshoot this real quick for you. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my phone screen again. Oh, okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much. And if you do have any questions, give us a call and we'd be happy to help out. Yeah, my pleasure. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this webinar so that follow-up email and the recordings can be sent out. But thank you again. Please have a great day. Hope to talk to you all real soon. All right, bye.